Hi, I'll be using malware analysis tools to look at some malware samples, specifically spyware. The first tool that I'm using is PeStudio. It is a static analysis tool, and the first sample that I'm using is a Trojan. The sample here is loaded into PeStudio by dragging across, and it has been loaded. And looking at the first tab, we can see that the first bytes in hex is 45A, and in text is MZ, which is Windows executable file. If we were to copy this hash value and load it to VirusTotal, we can see that this malware is flagged as malicious by many security vendors, and it is a Trojan, and with family labels MSIL and agent/. Trojan is a file that disguises as legitimate and trick users to install it. The MSIL family label supports .NET runtime and can be heavily obfuscated by renaming variables, methods, class names, and modify control flow. It can leverage on .NET framework for file manipulation, network communication, and encryption. The agent/. label means that it's a credential theft and uses data exfiltration. It collects sensitive info such as login credentials, browser history, cookies, clipboard data, and send to command and control. From the main tab, you can see that it is a 32-bit Windows executable. It targets the graphical user interface environment rather than command line. It has got high entropy. This means that the file is packed or obfuscated. Entropy ranges from 0 to 8. Closer to 8 means it's very highly obfuscated. File is compiled using Microsoft Visual C# in a .NET runtime environment, and looking at its version, it has got a gibberish product name. It's got missing information such as company name, no comments, and it has got no file description. It suggests that this executable lacks metadata, which is usually filled by legitimate software vendors. Looking at the indicators, imports are flagged. We shall look at sections. The file consists of text section. The code resides is the bulk of the file consists of the code. The resource section and the relocation section, doesn't indicate anything suspicious. So we shall move on to libraries. We see that the mscori.dll is very high, although nothing is flagged here, but the imports 1065 should raise a flag. Kernel 32 can be used to access Windows functionality. ADV API 32 is to interact with system services or Windows registry. User 32 is indicative of keylogging or user input monitoring. Version DLL can be used to check version of various Windows components. This can be legitimate processes, or it may be malicious, so we shall move on to imports flag to have a better idea how this malware operates. Looking at the flags that are highlighted using pinvoke as expected, that means it uses the .NET environment to carry out its operations. Known MITRE attack 1055 process injection is seen here, and it mainly refers to memory operations using virtual protect, virtual alloc, and it's used to allocate memory and change permissions to execute code. Memory operations to manipulate in-memory data streams. Map of view file, unmap view of file, and move file X. All these are file operations which can be used to hide or execute code. Get current thread ID, get process window station, get thread desktop. these are used for execution control and gather information about the current environment. From the string section, we shall look at what is flagged, and we can see that in addition to the imports section that is listed above, I have picked out those things that are not mentioned, such as set use shell execute and create decryptor. These are used to launch additional malicious software execute commands to modify system settings to bypass security features, and to decrypt encrypted downloads for execution. Authentication techniques uses to base 64 string from base 64 string. Desktop interaction functions such as get process window station is used to interact with user session, manipulate windows, steal info from user interface. Get thread desktop is to obtain info on desktop configurations, create desktop to display phishing screens or advertisements. Enum calendar info, it can be used to gather location info, determine best time to execute actions based on regional settings. In summary, we can see that this Trojan uses packing and obfuscation techniques, and it mainly functions to spy and steal information, either by manipulating windows or using phishing screens or stealing user input, and then exfiltrating the data to command and control for further action. Thank you for listening in to the first analysis of Spyware sample.